Now, you're probably wondering why I got this smile on my face. Like, this fucking final... this final page is so fucking hilarious because... like, after such an emotional chapter, like, after a chapter that straight up gives us a lot of characterization and development for Seidou, we have Ishida's final page. Like, after all of that, okay, like, after everything that happened in this chapter, the final page, literally in a bubble, meanwhile, it's just fucking... Matsuri has a fucking katana in his head. Like, dude, this man is just straight up fucking unicorn. Like, this man is a fucking unicorn. Matsuri is a confirmed unicorn now. Like, this man is Matsucorn, okay? That is what this man is, because holy shit, just, Ishida... like, this man didn't need to do this. Like, okay, look, the entire chapter had fucking Seidou in it, and literally the final fucking page is transitioned to another scene. It's like, meanwhile, like, just picture that, like, a sign, an announcer or whatever, just in that, like, meanwhile, in CCG, Matsuri has now become a fucking unicorn. What the fuck, Ishida? Like, that is, like, okay, like, I don't know what emotions I'm supposed to feel with this, but honestly, I want to just laugh. I want to smile and laugh because let's just process this image for a second, okay? Can we just analyze this final page before I get into everything else? Please let me do that. So, let's just look at this. We have a big box saying meanwhile, and if you look at the image, Matsuri, he has like this like just expression on his face to where it's like, I'm fine with this. Like, I'm fine with this. Like, I'm fine now. I'm Matsucorn. I'm good. Like, the man doesn't even seem to be aware of what is going on. He's not aware at all that this man has a fucking katana going through his head. But then you scroll down on it, the man just has his arms crossed like this. He's like, yeah, today's a good day. I wanna have a good day. I wanna probably get to have, ure. I'm like, the man is so composed in this final panel that what just happened was so quick that you probably had no time to process what the fuck happened. Because that's clearly the expression that is going on Matsuri's face. Like, when this man... yeah. So, I do want to talk about something, jokes aside, okay? Jokes aside of unicorn and all that. I do want to say, looking at the panel, it's not where the blade went straight through his head. The blade actually came down as a slicing motion. Because if you look closely, you see where the blade came in through the top of his head. And you see, like, the incision right there to where someone cut him from the top of the head down. So he's clearly, in the current state right now, he's being cut in half. I don't know if the blade stopped right there, or if the person that's currently stabbing him or cutting him is going all the way down to cut him clean in half. We don't really know because you can't really tell about motion when it comes into manga, besides when Ishida does little squiggly lines with, Mutsuki in last week's chapter, which, oh yeah, trigger alert anyways. But anyways, so, yeah, Matsuri, I don't really know if he is dead. I mean, we know he's a ghoul, because he's a washu. And I know we've seen some ghouls survive some crazy blows. Like, we've had ghouls have their heads completely just cut off and then they reattach again, which shows crazy regenerative power. But I don't know how strong Matsuri is, because we have never really seen this man in combat. We really don't know. This man, as we know, he's seen a lot of shit, apparently, in other countries and stuff, but we don't personally know. We haven't seen it. As the reader of Tokyo Ghoul Re, we have not personally seen whatever feats this man is capable of. We just know he's a ghoul, we know he's a washu, and we know he knows about V and stuff like that, so we know he's pretty damn powerful, but overall, we just don't know what he's truly capable of. I'm assuming Matsuri's not dead with this blow. Unless someone's clearly cutting this man in half. Like, actively cutting him completely in half. That's the only way I'm going to assume he's dead as hell. But if the blade stopped right there in the middle of his head, I just don't think so. I don't think he's probably dead. The reason why is because Matsuri as a character, he's very... even though I hate Matsuri, like, I straight up hate the man. I've stated my opinion on Matsuri. He's, like, my most hated character. Like, he's a great character, but let me kind of rephrase that. He's a great character, I just hate him as a person. I fucking hate Matsuri as a person, because everything he stands for and what he does, I fucking hate him. However, he is a great character. And so, with him dying, honestly, I would be fine with it because I just dislike him. But in terms of character and what he brings to the table and the series, I don't know if it would be a good decision to kill off Matsuri at this time, which it's Ishida's manga, he can do whatever he wants, but I just don't think Ishida is trying to kill off Matsuri in this page, because, for one, let's just analyze what's happening here. So, number one, we know Matsuri is in the control room with all the other CCG agents. They're looking at the battlefields, what's going on with the clowns, and, Kaneki's group and all that. He's in that room right now. And if I'm correct, I could be wrong about this, don't quote me on this, but if I'm correct, he's also in the same room with Furuta. Now, like I said, I don't remember. I would need to go back a couple of chapters to really make sure. But regardless if he is or isn't, we know he's in a control room. We know he's in a room with a bunch of others. And because of this, we do know that there's other eyes around him, human eyes around him. So, what would happen if Matsuri survived this, this cut in the head? After becoming a unicorn, what would happen? Well, obviously, if there's anyone that becomes aware of it, they turn around to look whatever's going on, it's going to cause a commotion, obviously. Regardless of what happens, it's going to cause a commotion, because someone is there to start some shit. Now, I have an idea who's starting shit, I'll get into that in a moment, but clearly someone is here to start some shit. And if Matsuri does survive this blow, then that would mean he would be revealed to be a ghoul. That means the humans in the control room are gonna look at Matsuri and be like, what the fuck? Like, you're a ghoul and all that? The man's gonna have his, Kakugan activate and shit like that. He's probably gonna pull out his, Kagane. So his secret with him being an actual ghoul will be let out, and, more mysteries will pop up, and then eventually the complications of finding out about the Washu clan, to, finding out the true reason why V or CCG is doing stuff like this, the shady shit, and then also how clowns, some of the clowns are actually humans being killed by CCG agents. It'll just complicate the entire issue if a lot of CCG employees find out that Matsuri is a fucking ghoul. Then they'll find out that the Washus are a ghoul clan, and they'll be like, what the fuck? And so, I feel like whoever is doing this is doing it to stir the pot and cause it to where the Washus or the heads of CCG are going to be just thrown under the bus, and then the truth is going to be out, and it's going to stir a commotion with CCG regular humans, and they're going to ask, like, what are we fighting for? What are we doing? And here you go. So, my assumption of who is doing this to Matsuri is V. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why would I assume it's V? Because that seems like that would be damaging, honestly, when you think about it. I mean, why would V do that? It doesn't make any sense. Why would they want to reveal their secret to CCG agents? Well, we don't really know what V overall wants. Apparently, their ideal or whatever they want, their goal, aligns with Furuta. And we don't really know what Furuta wants either. We've heard two different things. We know he wants to, have 101 children with, Rize, or fuck her 101 times or whatever. Or he wants to have super peace. And judging by how V is, I don't think they want just Rize. I feel like it aligns with peace or whatever Furuta's goal is. And so, I don't think whatever's going on here is against what V wants. I feel like V is the one doing the stabbing because of the katana. Let's think about what we saw a couple chapters back. When Kaneki was being chased, when we saw the V agents and stuff talking about the lab and stuff about how Kaneki and all of them would be there, we saw a couple of V agents having katanas. And the katana we see here looks very similar to the katana that, V holds. So, this is apparently V, or someone that's stolen a V weapon. Maybe. However, what's happening here is clearly someone that wants Matsuri's secret to be revealed, or the Washu clan, because I just do not think that's going to kill him. I feel like he's going to regenerate, everybody's going to freak out, Matsuri's going to have to kill everyone, or something else is going to happen. Something will definitely happen. So, yeah, one or the other is definitely going on. Now, there is another assumption, too. There could possibly be someone that has stolen the katana, and it might be Marade. Well, we know Marade is a big key factor, too. We don't know what's really going on with him right now. Maybe Marade is playing a role in this, and maybe something's going on, because we do know he knows the truth now. He knows the truth about, what the Washus are, V, what the organization, CCG is really doing. He knows the truth, so what's to say he's not here to get rid of another Washu or something, or take one out? Here you go. So, who knows? We'll see where that goes. Regardless, though, I do say that whatever is happening here is going to be interesting. I feel like Furuta is doing something in this scene. Like, there's definitely something happening. Or, Ooh, I just thought of this on the spot. Now, I don't know if this is going to be accurate or not, but I just thought of this. Who is a character we know that can change their appearance? Uta. What's to say, since I'm assuming, I'm under the assumption that the, Uta we saw in the last chapter, with Mutsuki having sex, I'm under the assumption that's not really Uta's body. So what's to say Uta hasn't snuck in, since he's a clown and all that, and he can change his appearance, snuck in as some form of V-agent, since he's aware of the plans and stuff. What if he's doing this? Think about it. Anyways, though, let's go to the first page. Anyways, let's actually talk about the meat of the chapter besides, Unicorn or Matsucorn or whatever. Okay, so the first page of chapter 115, it's a very dark and grim look into Seidou's past. Now, all the information we get with this flashback or whatever, we pretty much already knew. It was already speculated. I've already talked about it personally a long time ago in many reviews when Seidou was the big focus of Tokyo Ghoul Re. I talked about this in the past in my chapter reviews. But to do a quick update for anyone that is not aware, a long time ago, Seidou himself, when he was going crazy and mad, and he was in his, Kakuja form, and he was just saying a bunch of jumbled garbage or whatever, there was someone that managed to translate a piece of this and actually make out and say that Seidou was talking about his mother. He was talking about his parents, his family, and at the time, many of us were speculating that Seidou ate his own family. He ate all of his family, and he was force-fed to eat his own family. And so with this reveal, it really doesn't surprise me. It's more like Ishida's just confirming it, or he's confirming it for the people that were not able to understand it at the time because of the way all the wording was just jumbled up together. Regardless, though, this officially confirms that Seidou ate his own family. His family is dead. Everyone he loved, and when he was a regular human and a CCG agent, are dead. He ate them. And it's really fucked up, because, honestly, I thought it was Eto at the time, but apparently it's not. Dr. Kano, I used to think Dr. Kano was neutral, like, he was, like, morally gray, but I really don't know anymore. I really don't know anymore how to classify, Dr. Kano anymore, because this entire first page, like, let's just look at what he says, okay? Let me just, read it from the chapter. He's like, "That's good, Takizawa. You know a ghoul's hunger has a strong effect on its mind and body, that it can cause severe hallucinations. By the way, Takizawa, the thing you just ate, what sort of meat do you think it was? Did it taste like home, perhaps?" The way Dr. Kano is talking to Seidou, it's like he's trying to get a reaction out of him, which makes sense as a scientist. He wants to see what the person he's experimenting on, what type of reaction they make. And I feel like the reason why he's saying this, like, did it taste like home perhaps, is to spark some form of reaction to see how he would react to eating his own parents or eating his own sister or whatever, seeing how he would react to that. And I feel like that's what he was really, coming from as a scientist. Still, the way he talks to Seidou and the way he asks these questions, you gotta ask, is this man, does this man even feel anything? Does he not care about what he's doing and how fucked it is? I mean, we know Dr. Kano has a bigger goal. We know something has happened to this man in the past. We know something has drove this man to go this far in his life, to experiment this much. Still, regardless, though, does this man not feel anything for what he does and the pain he brings to others by making Seidou eat his own family? It makes you wonder, is he truly just morally gray? Or is he just fucking evil? And I don't really know. I mean, his character is just such a mystery when you just look at it. What he has done to Seidou, what he's done to Amon and all that to spark reactions out of people, what's happened to Kaneki, just all these different things that's happened. It just really makes you wonder, is he, in between? Or is he actually someone that just, wants to know shit? I don't know, but I mean, maybe Kaneki was onto something when he called Dr. Kano mad. Like, you're just a fucking mad scientist. He said that in part 1. Maybe Kaneki was right. We don't really know, but, It's pretty fucked what he's doing to Seidou. I mean, that's just... damn. So yeah, Seidou ate his parents, and it's kind of disgusting. It really is. I mean, you gotta imagine what type of reaction Seidou's having while eating his own family. Because let's, look at what Dr. Kano said. And we already know this as readers. We've already kind of seen glimpses of this in Part 1 Tokyo Ghoul, and even in Part 2 as well. When a ghoul experiences hunger and they go on, like, a long time without eating and they start starving, obviously they kind of go mad. We've seen this with Nishiki in Part 1 Tokyo Ghoul. And we do know that ghouls will even eat someone they probably care about, or attack them. And in this case, Seidou was resisting food for such a long period of time that eventually he went mad and started eating his family. He just started devouring them. And that's really fucked up when you see this, the way he ate his own family, where his hunger drove him to that point to where he would even eat his own family. And you gotta realize, once he realized it came to, after he was no longer hallucinating and, just under a strong effect, like, something was wrong with him, once he came to and realized what he was eating, you gotta imagine what he felt at that moment. Just imagine resisting eating human meat for so long, and then when you finally come to after just going crazy, you were sitting there looking at a ball of meat, which was your family. How would you react to that? In all honesty, I don't think anyone knows, really, because probably no one's been in that situation. So, point I'm getting at is at that moment, when Seidou came to that conclusion of what happened, his mind just shattered. And I like the emphasis behind Seidou when he looks at this ball of meat, which is the remains of his family. The way Ishida puts that background, and if you look behind Seidou, it looks like, glass breaking or something, like the wall is just destroyed, and I feel like that's emphasis on how Seidou's mind was in that moment, him just being completely broken because of what he did. And we do know, once all of this was done, once he was done being tortured, we know he was in a point of insanity. We know he was just killing people, eating people, attacking everyone. We saw it in the early stages of Tokyo Ghoul Re, which now we know why. At this time, he just became broken. He didn't know what to do at that time. I mean, when you kill or eat your own family, you're like, I'm a monster. I'm a disgusting individual. And he probably hated himself. He realized what he was doing and what he was, and he just didn't know, what to do after that. So, that is the start of the chapter. And then we go over into the fight, which is Seidou fighting his senpai, which is Amon, his superior. And I love the message behind this fight. And I know many are going to be looking at this chapter saying, it's a shit fight and all that. Look, at the end of the day, Tokyo Ghoul is not about the fights. I don't know how many times I need to say this when it comes to chapter reviews or Tokyo Ghoul videos in general, but for some reason, people still believe that Tokyo Ghoul should have some fucking long-ass fights that last, 15 to 30 fucking chapters like you would see in shonen and shit. But no, that's not what Tokyo Ghoul is. Number one, it's not a shonen. It's not a demographic for shonen, but also Ishida doesn't really necessarily care about fights. He goes along the lines of showing fights for messages or meaning for what's going on, and this fight has so much meaning. It's like Seidou standing up to someone that he always thought was better than him, and once the fight is concluded, he actually had his first victory, his first win, where he was able to overcome someone that he thought he could never beat, someone that was always someone that was a pillar he could never bring down, and I just love the message behind the fight. And so anyone that says this fight was shit, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say to you, because it honestly, the meaning behind this is fucking amazing. Seidou as a character, how much he has changed and developed since part 1 to this very point now, it's unbelievable. For a character, honestly, when I was reading part 1, I didn't give really any shits about Seidou at all. I didn't. I mean, when I saw the man get killed at the end of part 1, I was kind of, holy shit, that's kind of sad, because, what he said on his, will and testament, but I didn't care as much as if, let's say, an important character like, Kaneki was to die or something. I just didn't really care that much. And so because of this, I was like, it's sad, but okay. But when he got reintroduced, I was like, holy shit, this man's crazy. What the fuck? What's going on with him? And then as we saw him slowly developing and changing, where he calmed down a bit, it just showed how much he was able to change from part 1. And this character, honestly, I didn't give a shit about. I really care about now. I really care about Seidou's character, and I appreciate what he's doing in this chapter, how much he has changed, and how he's not someone that's a scrawny individual that couldn't stand up and fight for his own viewpoint, is now able to do that and stand and stick to it like he did, or never was able to do, in the past. Because in the past, he was someone that wouldn't state his opinion. He would just hide it, lock it up in himself. He wouldn't state how he felt about individuals. He'd just keep it suppressed, and he just wouldn't say anything. And he wouldn't be what he really wanted to be. But now, he's being very open about what he wants to be. He's letting out how he feels, but at the same time, he is being what he really wants to be, his true self, and he's aware of what he really is. And the entire fight is about that. When you see this man with his cockroach, and you just see the knight helmet and all that, he looks like a knight. He's standing up. It just shows how he knows what he's doing, and what he's doing now is the path he must take, and he's not looking back, and he's not turning around, and he will not make up, and will say sorry for what he has already done, because there's nothing he can do about it. And so he's facing forward and facing Amon and trying to stop him. And I do love the message of this chapter and what Ishida was going with it, especially with this fight. So, going to the next, page, or the message, actually, of what's going on. So, Seidou says that he wants to take Amon home. And the main point of why he's stating this is because he wants to take Amon home for Akira. He wants to take him home because he knows Akira really cares about Amon. She loves him. He's very aware of this. And Seidou's at a point to where he knows who he is, what he is. He knows his soul. He knows what he wants. And he's doing these things not just for himself, but he's doing it for others now. And I love how much of a man he has become with what he did in this chapter. When he states, I wanted to be like you. Like, here, let me get to the page and I'll read it. So this is what he says. He's like, Amon, you've always burned so bright. Bright enough to blind. And because of your morals and whatever you stood for, your justice and all that, it was nothing but torture to me every time I saw you. And then as he continues to fight, he's like, but I realized, this is Seidou coming to terms within himself. But I realized, I can't spout pretty words like justice, about justice like you can. And you see his leg just flying upward. He's like, I won't take back the crimes I have committed. Eating my family, killing people, what I've done in the earlier portions of Tokyo Ghoul Re, to doing what I've already done to you and Akira, and countless others. I won't take those crimes back, because he realizes what he has done. He's like, Takizawa Seidou died in that prison. And when you see his leg just flying through the air, what this symbolizes is a piece of him died that day. Nothing he can ever do will ever take that back or change that. And when he says, like, if I could, I would want to turn back time. But he realizes the reality of his situation. No matter what he does, no matter how much he asks for forgiveness or redemption, it won't change what he has already done. He has already hurt so many people. There is nothing he can do about that. He can apologize, he can cry, he can be angry, he can be crazy. But there's just nothing he can do that will ever change what crimes he's already committed. So he lives with that fact. And he realizes at that day, to when he was tortured, he ate his family, and every other thing he has done, a part of him died. It was completely dead. The old him was gone and will never come back. And he's like, I can no longer walk the straight and narrow path. His path is nothing but thorns and crooked and destroyed, because he can't be noble. He can't be on the path of justice like, Amon is. And he can't, change the world like Kaneki's trying to do. How they're both trying to do. He realizes he cannot do that. But at the same time, even though his goal isn't as bright and big as Kaneki's or Amon's, he knows what he's capable of, and he knows what he wants to do. And he knows what they can do, he can never do. And he knows he's just a loose cannon. But even though he's a loose cannon, he wants to help someone else out. He wants to live to help other people. That's what he wants to do. He wants to help out Akira, and he wants to help out others besides just Akira. He's living for someone else. He continues to march forward to carry on the crimes he has committed, and he won't forget about them, but he won't apologize. And so the reason why he lives is because he wants to help others that are in need. He doesn't want anyone else probably to experience what he has felt. But at the same time, though, he will not apologize for the things he has done. So I really gotta say that Seidou as a character really just surprised me, because in normal writing, you don't see a side character get this much development. You really don't. Seidou is a side character. He's not a main character. I mean, you could say Amon is a main character because he is like on the opposite side of Kaneki throughout the entirety of Tokyo Ghoul Part 1. He was someone that was on CCG's side, while Kaneki was on the Ghoul side. And they both saw perspectives, and they both wanted to bridge the gap. And so you could say Amon is a main character as well. He completely reflects what Kaneki has been through as well. And in this case, obviously, since those two are main characters, they're probably going to get the most development. But Ishida knows how to write such good side characters and really show, even if they can't live up and be as bright as the main characters, a side character can at the very least be a twinkling star in the sky, or at the very least be a knight that can help out the main heroes of the story. And I love that. I feel like that's why Ishida made Seidou's Kakujo look like a knight. He cannot stand up to the brightness and justice that the main characters give off, but at the very least, he can help them out and achieve what they want and live for them like a knight would. That is a really great way to write a character. I love Seidou's character. I love how he came to terms within himself what he really is, but also how he stood up to Amon, and at the very least was able to stop him and his rampage and have his true first victory. That was spectacular. It really was. So let's talk about the backflow real quick. So you remember what I said in my review of chapter 114 about the backflow with Seidou attacking, Amon? It apparently seems like I was kind of correct. You saw the way the blood RC cells were flowing in and all that, and then it stopped, and then he pumped them back and all that. It did seem like what I was talking about seemed pretty correct. So I don't really need to talk about that scene when it comes to, this chapter, because I already explained it in the last chapter review I did. So yeah, but after the fight and all that, once, the Kakujas start, coming off the faces of each individual, Amon and Seidou, all of a sudden, when Seidou hits the ground and all that, and he's, like, in the little hole, you see to where his Kakuja starts acting up. You see noises starting to, act up, and you just see where it starts wrapping around his face, which shows that Seidou is losing control of his Kakuja, which he's about to go into a crazy rampaging-like mode, which we see normally from ghouls. That's what I'm assuming from this image, because, look, Seidou's falling back. His mask was off, but then when he lands, you just see how the mask is just starting to wrap up around his face. You see his hair and all that, laying to the side, and you see noises coming out of it, which proves that, the Kakuja is about to, just go wild. And all of a sudden, amongst when this is happening, the RC cell suppressants, thrown over, and, Kuro saves the day and kind of calms down Seidou and also calms down Amon. So very good win on that regard. I'm glad to see, Kuro coming in and how she stated like a good man. Like she said a good man to Seidou and all that. That was a sweet, sweet moment. So, yeah. Very, very good chapter. Very good chapter. Very, very good chapter. So, gotta say, Ishida, you did a good job with Seidou's character. I'm really surprised with how much his character has developed, because let's just think about the path, okay? This will be my final words on this chapter. Let's just think about where Seidou started and where he is at now. He was a weakling, a little pansy character that was a support/side character in part 1. It was shown that he didn't want to die and all that, and he wrote all over his will and testament, which was very eerie and creepy. Bad omen. And then we know half of them got, completely destroyed, and eventually we thought he died. Tokyo Ghoul came around, chapters passed, eventually we saw this crazy man ripping people's heads off, and you just say, it's like a pineapple, and then he got the nickname Pineapple. He was crazy. He was a crazy individual, and eventually we found out he was Seidou. Throughout his mumbled, conversation, we knew he killed his parents or ate his parents, which was very fucked up at the time. He was very crazy. We know he was tortured. Someone that just didn't really have the right mind anymore. After time passed after that, it seemed like he overall calmed down a little bit after what happened, and then it seemed like he realized what he really needs to do as a person and actually realize what path he needs to take. And it just shows, even though he didn't have as much focus as maybe our other characters, he at the very least did develop too. He was developing on his journey, and he became just someone that was able to realize what he really is. He knows himself really well and what he's capable of and what he has done, and he lives with that fact. So I just really love Seidou's character. Very good character. Very, very, very good character. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts about, you know, the chapter. Let me know your thoughts about Matsucorn, you know, fucking Matsuri at the end of the chapter. Let me know just your overall thoughts. And I love you all so much. Please forgive me for this review being a little bit late today. It was just, you know, I was taking my time to think about this chapter, and then just, you know, I finally sat down and done it. So hopefully, you know, you all enjoyed it. I know the videos can get a tad bit long and all that, and I know some dislike that and some really love that. And I want to say, all of you that continue to watch these videos and you watch to the very end and you hear what I'm saying now, I do appreciate it. I truly, truly do. And thank you. I just want to say that right now. I do appreciate it. You don't know how much that means to me, just to know you guys, you know, sit through me talking this long. And you guys are wonderful. You're great. You're really, really great. So, you all have a great day. Or night, wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.